Alright, so if you notice there's a file in here called textblock.xaml, and you can go ahead and open that up. And again, let's maximize this window and turn off auto parse, and then resize the text area. And in here you can see our text block. And again, text block is a very, very simple element, but it actually is a really useful element because it's the element that allows you to display text on the screen. Now, WPF introduces a lot of new features related to text. One of those is called text flow or flow documents, and that's actually an advanced topic that we won't cover in this training. Another really interesting feature that WPF brings to the table is the newest version of Microsoft's technology for rendering text on the screen called ClearType. For WPF, ClearType automatically kicks in for all fonts under about 20 pixels. Now the truth is that ClearType is really useful for reading text, and especially when you have long runs of text, it actually makes that text really easy to read. There are times though when ClearType can make it hard for certain text to look right, especially at small sizes. But overall, it's a really nice feature. Alright, so let me show you some of the text-related properties on TextBlock. The first of these is an obvious one, and it's the property that we use in order to change the font for the text block. And that's a property called font family. So let's set the font family to one that we all know. Let's set it to the font Georgia. Now if I refresh this, you can see that the text updates to use Georgia. A similar property that's also very common is font size. And when I specify a font size, I can either specify that in pixels, which is what I've done here, or if I follow that by PT, it means it's specified in points. Now if I hit F5, you can see what happens. And then the other really common property that you'll use with text is foreground, and that lets you change the color of the text. Lastly, let me show you one of my favorite properties on TextBlock. This is a property called text trimming. Now it really only comes into play when we've constrained the size of the text. So let me set the width of this text block to be 400 pixels. And when I update that, you can see that now it's clipping the text. The text trimming property actually allows us to specify what happens when the text runs out of space, and it will actually insert ellipses in for us. There are two values that come into play here. One is the value word ellipsis, and the other value is character ellipsis. So let's set this to word ellipsis, and you can see what happens. Okay, so now you can see that the text actually divided itself up at the nearest word and then inserted an ellipsis to make up for the difference. The other possible value for text trimming is character ellipsis, and this would have divided up the text at the nearest character instead of the nearest word. So let's go ahead and close this. And now we're done looking at framework elements. So let's go ahead and look at the controls.